So what I'm going to do is just to show you the scoring settings, and when I show you where the dialog box is and how to activate that, it's actually shown right here on the screen, but it's small. And so let me just pull over. I'll pull over a CRM 4.0 window, and you should be seeing that, I think. So, okay. And in CRM 4.0, right here on the top, we've got a drop-down, and we've got a lead scoring option. So we'll click on that, and this pops the simple dialog interface for where you put in the information. And momentarily, I will show you where this is in CRM 2011 as well. So this is how you would actually get to be able to see the specific setting options, and from here, what you'll notice that you can do is that you can score not only your web intelligence, and you put in these values however you want. If you want each web session to count 50 points, that's fine. You just enter 50. Or if you want it to count, like in my case, I put in 5, then that's fine. And remember, a session is where if I were to open a web browser and go to coremotives.com, that would initiate a web session. And during that session, I might look at 3 separate web pages. And so I would have a view count in that session of 3, and I would have a time duration of, might be 10 seconds, it might be 10 minutes. And that's what we capture at the session level. So we break that out a bit for you. And we also would capture if I happen to be using my iPhone during that session, and all my geolocation data. If I were sitting in Seattle today and happen to be viewing coremotives.com, that data would be carried forward on the session. I get that question a lot, so I just want to make sure that I covered that. And we've allowed you to apply a value to the session in addition to the quantity of pages that are viewed, plus a value on the forms that would be submitted. And a form submission could be a sign up for a newsletter, register for a webinar, fill out a survey, any of those kinds of things, and you're allowed to put values. So it's important to note that these values may be overridden, I should say. And what I mean is, let's say that you have a very high value product page. What you can do is in the script that we give you, the tracking script for each pages, there is a line that you can insert right there, and you can put in a custom page scoring value for that high value page. And in my scenario where I might normally be counting a 1, in that sense I might want to count it as a 10. So I just simply enter 10 in my script line, and that's how that will be overridden. The same goes for forms. Okay, now, and I don't have time to get into much more than that, but for now, but you can reach back out a little later. Now, I just want to point out the next item is that regarding scoring, we can also score email marketing behavior. And I think that if you're looking at other options about what do I present to my client as the best product that would meet their scoring needs, I think that you would want to consider that we allow email marketing scoring. So that's something that not all products offer. And we think it's very important if you are if you're feeding a sales team with leads that you want to have scored as hot, and then if you cannot count the email marketing component of that, I don't think that you get the full picture of how prospects are interacting. So it gives you a whole new angle. And of course, notice that you can put in negative values. So these are capped at a 100. So your scores need to be between 1 and 100 or 0 and 100, and the same with the negatives. All right, and the next thing that I want to point out, let me just show you this in CRM 2011. I'll switch my screen. So here is CRM 2011, and notice there's the ISV tab here, and if I click on lead scoring, I get the same dialog box from there. All right. Okay, so now if I wanted to take a particular person, if Ben wouldn't mind if I used him, I've got a little view of my dashboard here when I select Ben's contact record from there, you'll notice that on the contact record I have a section called lead score, and when I click on lead score, Ben's score is an 88, and that 88 is a combination of his page views, sessions, form submits, anything like that that he might have been doing. And you'll need to remember that we have made a decision since we released the lead scoring that we will not automatically create the section for you, nor will we add the field to the form. So you need to do this manually yourself, and this gives you the option to choose to put the lead score field on the general tab if you wish, or on its own separate tab. The field will be in the data base. It's just go to customizations, you'll see lead score right there, and you simply add that where you want to. Okay. Another thing about privileges. So from a privileges perspective, I'll just go back to my 4.0 for a moment. From a privileges perspective, you will not see this option if you are not an administrator. So you must be an administrator in order to see this. The CRM security role, system administrator, needs to be there. That way, someone in the organization, just a random person, can't go in and override these settings. We had to make a decision on that, and that's what we chose. Okay. Furthermore, regarding, you can still do custom scoring if you want to. So with custom scoring, I'm just simply saying that let's say that you've got this tab in CRM, and you've got this tab devoted to lead scoring, which I sort of like this idea. You could always add any kind of other custom field, and using the workflow engine, you've got the ability to increment, decrement, multiply, so forth and so on. And you might want to put a score that's related to the number of inbound phone calls, for example. So your workflow would be something like on create of a phone call record in CRM, where the Boolean field equals inbound rather than outbound. Then you could increment this by some number that you've chosen via workflow, and then you might want to create another field which aggregates these. Just some idea about custom scoring where we get that. So you have the choice to do that through workflow. Okay. And time-based scoring. This is something that I think is another very unique element that we see as valuable. So what do we mean by time-based scoring? We actually mean that, for example, that during the first month of 2011, you would have a score, and that score would be made up of a variety of items. And then in the second month, you would have another series of actions that together combined yield a total score that's higher. But this just gives you, and in the third month, you had another point. So if you take 33 from the first month, 12 from the second month, 10 from the third month of the year, that gives a total running score of 55. But you're actually able to see a time-based parameter around how that scoring is developing, which opens the possibilities for a much more robust and dynamic, if you will, scoring model. So we do not, the reason why this has an asterisk is that this is not live at the moment, but this is something that is going to be released and will further differentiate our scoring model from any others out there. You'll hear a lot about grading and scoring in the market, and this lead scoring issue is a really hot topic right now, but I think that we're covering some of the most real powerful ways to do this with our scoring method. So